Ever wondered about the unique characteristics of Hans Island, the smallest island in the Kennedy Channel of the Nares Strait? Well, sit back and let's take a virtual journey to this fascinating piece of land in the high Arctic region. Hans Island, known as Tartupaluk in Inuktitut and Greenlandic, meaning kidney-shaped, is split between two territories. On one side, we have the Canadian territory of Nunavut, and on the other, the Danish autonomous territory of Greenland. This island is situated right in the center of the Kennedy Channel, which makes its location quite intriguing. But don't imagine a lush green island with tropical fauna. Hans Island is completely barren and uninhabited. It's a stark, rugged piece of land with an area of about 320 acres. It measures approximately 4,232 feet by 3,934 feet. The island reaches a maximum elevation of 551.7 feet. To put it simply, it's a small, desolate and rocky island, not the kind of place you'd want to be stranded on. Despite its bleak and desolate nature, this little island has been the center of attention for years due to a border dispute between Canada and Denmark. This dispute has been so intense that it earned the name the Whisky War. Why such a fierce dispute over such a small, barren island, you ask? It's all about its unique geographical location. Hans Island is the smallest of three islands in the Kennedy Channel, with the others being Franklin Island and Crozier Island. The strait at this point is about 22 miles wide, placing the island within the territorial waters of both Canada and Denmark. The island's unique location and characteristics have been the source of a long-standing border dispute, famously known as the Whisky War. Hans Island, despite its barren state, holds a rich history. This small, uninhabited island in the high Arctic region has been a part of the Inuit hunting grounds since as far back as the 14th century. The Inuit people, indigenous to the Arctic regions of Canada, Greenland, and Alaska, have been using this island as a strategic point for hunting, owing to its central location in the Kennedy Channel of Nares Strait. But the history of Hans Island is not all about hunting. It has been a bone of contention between two nations, Canada and Denmark. This dispute, often referred to as the Whisky War, began when both nations claimed the island as part of their territories. The island, due to its location, lies within the territorial waters of both Canada and Denmark, leading to the dispute. This Whisky War, though it sounds intense, was more of a friendly banter between the two nations. It started when the Danish left a bottle of schnapps on the island with a note saying, "Welcome to the Danish island." In response, the Canadians, not to be outdone, left a bottle of Canadian Club and a sign saying, "Welcome to Canada." This back and forth continued for years, making the island a symbol of the cordial relationship between the two countries. Despite this friendly rivalry, the issue of ownership was a real one and needed to be resolved. It wasn't until the 14th of June 2022 that both countries finally came to an agreement. They decided to split the disputed island roughly in half. This resolution marked an important milestone in the history of Hans Island, ending years of friendly contention and establishing a clear border in the high Arctic region. So, in conclusion, the history of Hans Island is a fascinating tale of indigenous hunting grounds, friendly international rivalry, and eventual diplomatic resolution. Only in 2022 was the dispute finally resolved, with both countries agreeing to split the island roughly in half. Hans Island, a geological marvel, is more than just a piece of barren land. Beneath the surface of this unassuming speck in the Arctic lies a story written in rocks and sediment, a testament to the island's ancient past and its potential future. Let's delve into its geological composition. The exposed portion of Hans Island consists of nearly 640 feet of Silurian limestone. This stratum is a layered history book of the island, with each layer representing a different era. From its summit to sea level, the uppermost carbonate buildup facies of the Allen Bay Formation of Canada and part of the Cap Morton Formation of Washington Land, Greenland, form a yellowish-brown to grey limestone, rich with remnants of ancient sea life like megalodont bivalves and stromatoporoids, a type of extinct marine sponge. Beneath this, a pale yellowish-brown to pale grey marker bed, about 33 to 39 feet thick, separates the upper layer from a lower layer of similar composition. This lower layer, a yellowish-brown to brownish-grey weathering limestone, forms local cliffs and is underlain by lower Cambrian to middle Silurian strata, that are at least 10,800 feet thick. These sedimentary strata contain source rocks that may have been heated enough to generate significant amounts of oil and gas. However, these strata lack the geological structures and facies changes capable of trapping these hydrocarbons and forming commercial-sized petroleum reservoirs. The surface of Hans Island tells another story. It is covered by a veneer of unconsolidated glacial sediment, a mix of gravel, mud and boulders that form a discontinuous till veneer on the limestone surface. The gravel consists of angular to sub-rounded, kidney-shaped limestone clasts and large erratics of red granites and granitoid and garnet gneisses. This surface also exhibits erosional features indicative of the streaming of an ice sheet through Kennedy Channel. Despite its barren state, Hans Island's geological features make it a fascinating subject of study. These features tell a tale of the island's past and hint at a potential future that could change the narrative of this little island in the Arctic. In modern times, Hans Island continues to hold significance. Situated in the Arctic region, the island's location is at the heart of an intriguing geopolitical conversation. Split between the Canadian territory of Nunavut and the Danish autonomous territory of Greenland, the island has been the center of a friendly dispute, often referred to as the Whisky War, between the two nations. This dispute was finally settled on the 14th of June, 2022, when both Canada and Denmark agreed to share the island, splitting it roughly in half. This shared ownership is not merely a matter of territorial possession, but it also holds cultural relevance. For centuries, Hans Island has served as a part of the Inuit hunting grounds. The Inuit, an indigenous group spread across the Arctic regions of Canada, Greenland, and Alaska, have depended on the island for their subsistence hunting. Even today, the island remains a crucial part of their hunting territory, preserving a rich cultural heritage that dates back to the 14th century. But the modern significance of Hans Island goes beyond territorial disputes and cultural heritage. The island, with its Silurian limestone structure, could potentially hold untapped resources. While the strata underneath Hans Island may not currently possess the geological structures necessary for trapping hydrocarbons and forming commercial-sized petroleum reservoirs, advancements in technology and further exploration could potentially unlock these resources in the future. Moreover, as the effects of climate change become increasingly apparent, Hans Island's strategic location in the Arctic could enhance its geopolitical importance. With the melting of Arctic ice opening up new trade routes, the island could serve as a significant point in these navigational paths. Thus, Hans Island, though small and barren, continues to make waves in the world. Its unique geographical location, shared ownership, cultural significance, and potential untapped resources all contribute to its modern relevance. As we move further into the 21st century, who knows what new significance this tiny piece of land might hold? So what makes Hans Island unique and significant? Well, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked on today. Nestled in the center of the Kennedy Channel of Nares Strait, Hans Island is a barren, uninhabited island split between the Canadian territory of Nunavut and the Danish autonomous territory of Greenland. Despite its desolate appearance, the island's location has been the source of a border dispute, the Whisky War, between Canada and Denmark for many years. Its geographical features are as intriguing as its political history. The island, only about 130 hectares in size, is the smallest of 3 islands in the Kennedy Channel. Yet it has managed to capture the attention of nations. The strait at this point is 35 kilometers wide, placing the island within the territorial waters of both Canada and Denmark. But it's not just the location of Hans Island that's fascinating, it's the island's geological features that make it truly unique. The exposed portion of Hans Island is made up of 195 meters of Silurian limestone. This limestone is underlain by lower Cambrian to middle Silurian strata that are at least 3,300 meters thick and contain source rocks that may have generated significant amounts of oil and gas. The island's significance is not just confined to the past, but extends to the present day. On June 14, 2022, Canada and Denmark agreed to split the disputed island roughly in half, putting an end to years of dispute. This decision has modern implications for territorial disputes and sovereignty claims. Whether it's the Whisky War, its geological marvels, or its modern significance, Hans Island indeed holds a unique place in the world. This tiny, uninhabited island has a story that's larger than life, and its tale is a testament to the complex and fascinating narratives that can be hidden in the most unexpected of places.